The Trail of Tears, Why America Owes an Apology and Reparations by the Grumpy Veteran Project created within video. It is one of the darkest chapters in American history, a story of betrayal, suffering, and loss. The Trail of Tears. Thousands of Native Americans were forced from their ancestral lands, walking hundreds of miles through brutal conditions. Many never made it. This tragedy was not a natural disaster. It was man-made, orchestrated by the United States government under the Indian Removal Act of 1830, signed into law by President Andrew Jackson. The Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Seminole nations were forced to give up their homelands for the promise of safety west of the Mississippi River.
The Trail of Tears is not just a story of displacement, it's a story of systemic theft. Millions of acres of fertile land were seized, fueling America's expansion. The human cost, more than 4,000 lives lost among the Cherokee alone. Starvation, disease, and exposure claimed many on their journey.
For us, the Trail of Tears is not just history. It's a wound that still hasn't healed. Our communities suffer from the long-term impacts of land theft, cultural destruction, and broken promises.
The legacy of the Trail of Tears is visible today in the economic disparities faced by Native American tribes. Centuries of neglect have left many communities struggling for basic necessities, while their cultural heritage fights for survival. The U.S. government signed hundreds of treaties with Native nations, only to break them repeatedly. Reparations are not just about compensation, they are about honoring the promises made to these communities and restoring what was unjustly taken. So why hasn't America formally apologized? And why haven't reparations been seriously considered? The answers lie in systemic ignorance and political unwillingness. But an apology is long overdue. Countries like Canada and Australia have formally apologized to their indigenous peoples for historical injustices. These apologies, while not erasing the past, mark an essential step toward reconciliation. America must follow suit.
An apology must come with action. It's not just about words. It's about restoring land, funding education, supporting healthcare, and preserving our languages and traditions.
Reparations for the Trail of Tears could take many forms: land restoration, returning stolen lands, or granting new land rights. Financial compensation, supporting tribes and individuals economically. Cultural preservation, funding language programs and cultural initiatives. Infrastructure investment, improving schools, hospitals, and community centers. Sovereignty strengthening, ensuring tribes have the autonomy to govern themselves. These measures are not about charity. They are about justice. They are about addressing the long-term harm caused by policies designed to erase Native American peoples and cultures. The Trail of Tears should remind us of our nation's capacity for harm, but also its capacity for redemption. An apology and reparations won't undo the past, but they can pave the way for a more equitable future. It's time for America to take responsibility. Let's honor the past by building a just future. Support Native communities. Demand justice.